Hey, what's up everyone? Hope you're doing well. I'm here to make another video about economics and finance. So, first thing, I'm just a regular person. I'm not a billionaire, but I want to share a few things. First of all, financial education to me starts with a huge mediocrity. It's crazy that we're forced to spend 3 years learning about chemistry, physics, electrons, carbon chains, stuff I'll never use in my life. But at no point do we learn about financial education, which is something that will stay with us forever, and that messes up a lot of people's lives. If someone wants to be a chemist, they'll learn chemistry in college, but financial education is something you have to figure out on your own. So here's the deal. You'll need to go after this knowledge yourself to avoid being one of those people who mess up their lives with money, not knowing how to save or how to build wealth. You can read books, watch videos on YouTube, but you got to be proactive. There are people out there who are 20, 30, 40 years old and never even cared about financial education. It's something you need to rethink because finances follow you for life, right up until your last breath. It's way more important than a lot of other things we rush after. Next thing, debt. Guys, don't take on any debt seriously. What are you talking about? Are you rich? No, I'm not rich, but I have no debt, and my wife and I sleep easy at night knowing that if everything goes wrong, we'll be fine. I don't do debt. I don't have a pile of credit card bills. I don't buy things unless I have the money for them. That's the most important thing. A lot of people are just really dumb about this, sorry, but I'm including myself in that generalization. People are dumb because instead of saving up to buy something, like a TV, they just go ahead and buy it on credit. So they buy the TV, and then they pay, and it becomes a huge burden. Here's another thing. Don't think of debt like the people who are completely strapped. Debt is anything that keeps you paying over time. In another video, I already mentioned the only debt I've ever had was for my apartment, and I had no choice. It was too expensive to pay all at once. But I'll never buy a TV unless I have the money to pay for it in full. Never. I'll save up and buy it when I can. This mentality is so important. I know people get anxious, saying I want it now, but then they go out and buy a TV and split the payments over 24 months. And remember, when you finance something, the final price is much higher than if you pay it in full. Then, just when you finish paying for that TV, a new temptation comes along. Oh, I really want that new couch from that store. And now you need it because you didn't take the time to save for it. So you go and finance it too. And now you've got two debts. And you keep digging yourself deeper and deeper into debt. Credit cards. I'm planning to make a separate video on my opinion about credit cards, but let me tell you, people in this country have way too many credit cards. It's a huge problem. Just want to make a quick observation here. Whether it's a small debt or a big one, it's still debt. If you bought a $100 radio and put it on a payment plan, you have debt. If you bought a 60-inch TV and are dreaming of paying for it over 24 months, that's debt too. And if you lose your job tomorrow, or if something goes wrong, you're in trouble because you won't be able to pay it off. Then, when you go to the credit bureau, they'll see your debt has grown 30 times bigger because you got desperate and decided to buy something you didn't need. You were like, I need this TV now. But here's the thing, save up first. When you save money and pay for something in full, you get a discount. So not only will you avoid getting stuck in debt, but you'll also pay way less. For example, let's say you want to buy a $1,500 TV. If you choose to pay in 12 installments, you'll end up paying over $2,000 with interest. But if you pay up front, no interest, and you can use apps like AIM or others to get a discount, maybe you'll only pay $1,200. That's $800 or more in savings if you buy outright, and no debt. So save up first. That's the first point. The second point is about necessary and unnecessary debt. It's easy for someone like you who doesn't have kids yet, and is just living their life working to say, don't go into debt. And I get it. But I want to be fair here and clarify the difference between necessary and unnecessary debt. If you're a parent, you lose your job, and you need to buy food, you may have to use credit to make ends meet. You might not have a choice, and that's different. But if you're just buying a TV or some other non-essential item, you don't need to go into debt. Each person has to make that decision for themselves. You can go without the TV for a while, save up, and buy it later. I know it's easier for me to say this because I don't have kids, and it's just me and my wife, both of us working, but I see people in the same situation as me making horrible decisions. Some people go into debt all the time. They'll buy a snack on their credit card in 3 installments. Come on, stop it. There's a quote from someone, can't remember who right now, but it was a British Prime Minister. He said, debt is the mother of all madness and crime. And that's true. It's dangerous. You start making one bad decision, then another, and before you know it, you're buried in debt. So don't do it. The third thing I want to talk about is priorities. You have to prioritize what really matters in life. What's more important to you? Spending $1,000 on a pair of sneakers that will wear out in 6 months, or saving that money and buying a car so you don't have to keep taking the bus? I know people who do this. They buy a new Nike pair every week, but they're living paycheck to paycheck just to keep buying sneakers. Why? Because they're acting like fools. They want to live like the people they see in those rap videos, driving expensive cars and living the high life, but they're struggling to pay $400 for sneakers. It's pure stupidity. And then these same people will buy $1,000 sneakers and still take the bus. They'll even order food on delivery apps like Rappi instead of cooking at home. That's not the way to live. You'd be better off buying a cheaper pair of sneakers for $200 and using the extra money to buy a cheap car. But no, they don't think that way. I know people who are always in debt, but you'll constantly see them posting on Facebook from places like Starbucks or Outback, spending like there's no tomorrow. It's crazy. Not about acting like you have a ton of money. It's about saving up, man, saving up. And I want to tell you something that's honestly the most important thing. This video might be a bit of a reminder for some of you, but if you want to listen, here it is: the emergency fund or rainy day fund, whatever you want to call it. Before you buy anything or make any investments or spend on anything, make sure you have your emergency fund in place. Financial experts say it should be the equivalent of 6 months of your living expenses. For example, if you can't get by with $2,000 a month, then you should have $12,000 saved up, 6 times that amount, somewhere safe, somewhere you won't touch unless it's absolutely necessary. I've been doing this for years because life throws unexpected curveballs, and often those surprises aren't pleasant. For instance, just the other day, 2 months ago, my car's timing belt snapped. You know how much a timing belt for a Peugeot costs? That wasn't in my plans. I wasn't expecting that to happen in November, but it did. And that's exactly why you need to have that emergency fund, so you're not screwed when something unexpected comes up. So let's say you've got $3,000 saved up. Put that in a savings account. I know some of you will say, but my savings account doesn't earn any interest. Honestly, who cares about the interest? The point is, you need that money to be there and not touched, unless it's an emergency. You're not going to dip into that fund just because you want a new pair of shoes or a meal out at a fancy restaurant. You only use it for things that are truly urgent. Priority, man. It's all about priorities. Think about it. There are people out there who are constantly eating out, but never take a vacation. They've never even seen the ocean. What's more important, spending $10,000 on a big fancy kid's birthday party for a 1-year-old, or saving up to take a trip with your family? Think about it. These are just some of the things I've learned from someone who isn't rich, but doesn't have debt. And let me tell you something, just because you don't have money doesn't mean you're rich. I'm not rich. I only buy things when I have the money for them. If I don't have the money, I don't buy it. That's how I live, and it works for me. So keep that in mind. I might also make a video on my opinion about credit cards, so stay tuned for that. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, God bless, and see you next time.